Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Olivia, and today I'm dressed up like Lady Beetlejuice to discuss some spooky movies to watch that aren't Nightmare Before Christmas or Hocus Pocus, because if you're anything like me, you're over it. You're over it. It's been marketed too much. We're done. We're not watching those anymore. So these exist on a sliding scale from most family friendly to least family friendly. The only thing I can guarantee you across the board is that they are not that scary, because I'm a self-proclaimed wimp. I don't like to be scared, but I do like like slightly spooky, and I really have an appreciation for artistry and like the genre of horror, but unfortunately, I don't want to be scared. I just want to enjoy the vibes. We're here for vibes, and that's it. Let me scoot off to the side here and we'll start. First movie on the list is Monster House from 2006. This is such a cute, fun family movie. It's just spooky enough for little kids. The premise of the movie is that the creepy house on the street that all the kids are afraid of is actually alive and is a monster, and the kids have to prove that they're not lying when they say the house is alive. I saw this in theaters like forever ago. Honestly, I need a rewatch of it. It is starring, I've got my laptop down here, so please excuse me. It is starring, this is the one that stars Mitchell Musso in it. Yeah, you guys remember this one? Yeah, fun movie, totally family friendly, not scary, but like just an introduction to the horror genre for kids. It's perfect. We love it. So in my quest to find not scary, spooky movies, I tried to avoid Tim Burton, but in order to give Henry Selick the spotlight that he deserves, I had to get some things that are Tim Burton. So this one is James and the Giant Peach from 1996. This is not a decidedly Halloween movie, but the original story is by Roald Dahl, who always has a level of creep to his stories. And of course, it's produced by Tim Burton, so it's got that claymation look, but directed by Henry Selick, who does another movie on this list. It's just perfect. It's just scary enough, but it's a fun fantasy story, and I don't know what else to say. It's a classic. Without being too redundant, it's a classic. Show it to your kids. It's a great time. I love Miss Spider in this so much. I think that's her name. I'll put a picture right here. This character. I love her, and I would base my look off of her. Next up on the list, we have Paranorman from 2012. I initially thought this was directed by Henry Selick. It is not. I don't even think it's Leica Pictures. I think it is directed by Sam Fell and Chris Butler. Still reading off my laptop. This is how I do presentations at school, by the way. The tagline is, "It's all fun and games until someone raises the dead." The idea is that Norman can see dead people. No one believes him except for his new friend, and he has to figure out what is going on. Why can he see all of these spirits, and why are they trying to talk to him? Very sweet story, very cute coming of age, just spooky enough. Again, you can show it to your children, not scary at all, totally fun, highly recommend. Love this. I think this is also the same company that did Box Trolls and Book of Life, which are not on this list because I haven't seen them. This next recommendation is actually not a movie/film. It is a TV show. It is a limited series, and that is Over the Garden Wall. Yes, it's so, I watched it for the first time in August before they took it off of HBO Max, but it's still on Hulu if you want to watch it. Even then, I would say find a way to pirate it because it's that good. It's about two brothers, Wirt and Greg, as they wander through the forest and they meet a cast of creepy, like genuinely creepy, interesting, fun, cartoony characters, and it's so perfect. I think it perfectly encapsulates autumn and Halloween, and it's just so brilliant. Each episode is like 8 minutes, so it's not like a huge time suck. If you want to watch all of it in one go, it's an hour and a half. Totally worth it. There's some great music in there. There's some really sweet, heartfelt moments, and there's some that genuinely made me go, what is that? Like, what is that? And it also made me laugh. It was on Cartoon Network in 2014. So good. It's starring Elijah Wood. Watch it. I implore you to watch it, and then maybe, just maybe, HBO Max will put it back on and we can watch it, because I think Max is better than Hulu. Just adding that in, okay? And the final film in the family-friendly category is my personal favorite. I hope you've all seen this. I think you've all seen this. The internet is right on the verge of ruining it for me, but I won't let them because it's so genuinely good. And that is Coraline from 2008, directed by Henry Selick. Coraline moves from Michigan to Oregon. She's having a hard time adjusting. Her parents are driving her crazy. She wishes for things to be better, and the other mother gives her her dream world, but unfortunately, things turn out not to be what they appear to be. It's so good. It's like just teetering on scary. I know a couple people who think that this movie is too scary to show their kids. I watched it with my mother and she was like, dang, that's really scary. I don't think it's scary. I think it's very fun and very sweet. The music's very good. The stop motion animation is incredible. It's one of my favorites. So that's not a good review, but it's a great movie and you should really watch it. Okay, this next category I'm gonna call old-timey sleepers. The reason being is that you can show these to literally anyone. However, they're a little slow. So if you're not used to slow films or even silent films, you might want to skip these, but I really hold these really high up. I think they're really fun. They're good background movies. So, and they're all from like the 1930s to the 1950s. So you're not going to get scared. You just might be a little bored, but I really love them for the vibes. I'm so sorry. Okay, we're gonna do double feature here, and that is Frankenstein from 1930 and The Bride of Frankenstein from 1931. Watch these two together, not separately. They're meant to be double featured. Obviously, the first one is the story of Frankenstein's monster, and then the other one is The Bride of Frankenstein, which is genuinely a sad movie because, as we all know, the monster is society. The Frankenstein's monster in these films is the victim. So the bride is the victim in the next one. Sweet movies, love them. Sad, spooky, fun. If I could be film student-y for a second, German Expressionism played a big role in that. And that actually brings me to my next film. So the next movie, if you've seen Portlandia, you know that there's a skit about this movie and how you turn into a mailman after you watch this movie, and that is The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari from 1920. You should watch it for the set design alone. The story makes no sense. It's about a sleepwalker. That's the story. It's about a sleepwalker. That's all you need to know. I'm not going to tell you anything else other than watch the Portlandia skit and then watch the movie because I think it will excite you for it. If you ever said I like Tim Burton's visual style, then you're gonna watch this and be like, oh, he ripped it from that, because this is the pinnacle of German Expressionism, which again, favorite visual style. Okay, the next old-timey sleeper hit is The Phantom of the Opera from 1925. It stars, who is it? Lon Chaney is the Phantom. It's very good. It's very much so intact of what the story is supposed to be, not that bullshit Andrew Lloyd Webber movie. I don't know what that was. This is like, it has the same integrity as the original story is supposed to be. If you enjoy the musical version, I'm very curious as to how you will feel about this. But again, it's silent, so you never know. I don't know how you're gonna feel, but I like my classic horror. This next movie is from 1932. It is called Vampire. It is a German film. It was lost for a very long time, and then I believe in the 1990s, someone found the footage and put the movie back out into circulation. This, I believe, is on, let me look. This is on Amazon, Apple TV, and I think I found it on Peacock as well. But basically, it's a vampire movie. If you thought I was going to put the 1930s Dracula on here, you are sadly mistaken because I do not actually like that one. I like this one a lot. Very relevant to Bram Stoker's Dracula lore, but a twist on it. Like I said, it's a German film, but because it's silent, subtitles are in English. You're not going to hear them speaking German and like kind of have to play catch up. It's meant to have subtitles. There are scenes missing. Like you can tell that there are scenes missing because at some point the story is disconnected. But if you like film history, I do highly recommend it. I thought it was so fun when I watched it. I think I saw it for the first time like a month ago. And my final and favorite old-timey horror film is none other than 1959's House on Haunted Hill, starring Vincent Price. Personally, love Vincent Price. Such a fun actor who just leaned into the kitsch. This movie is a couple, a deranged couple that is squabbling, invites a bunch of people over for a dinner party. They get murdered one by one. It's very fun. I promise it's not scary. It was still a time of like heavy production code, so you're not gonna see anything bloody. There's like some silly skeletons. I promise it's not scary, but it's so genuinely enjoyable, and I highly recommend you watch it in black and white, but the color version is fine as well. All right, guys, and now final category. This is the one that you gotta kind of watch the family friendliness of it. It's gonna go from 0 to 100 real quick. And so we're gonna start with the one that I think is probably the most family friendly, and that's Clue from 1989. It's actually a lot like House on Haunted Hill. We all know the board game Clue. Yeah, it's this movie starring Tim Curry. And the really cool thing about this, watching it on streaming, is that you get all 6 alternate endings, because when the film was first released, depending on what region you lived in the United States, depended on what ending you got. You know, like when you play Clue and you put the cards in the envelope and it's different every time. Yeah, great movie, cult classic. I feel like not enough people really talk about how great it is and how like impactful that release is, because I don't think enough people do that anymore, especially when it's a whodunit. We need more mystery in our lives. I think that's what I'm getting at, is that there's not enough mystery. All right, going from one Tim Curry film to another Tim Curry film. No, it is not Muppet Treasure Island, although that is a great movie. It's the Rocky Horror Picture Show from 1975. Fun musical, not scary at all. It's mostly silly, though, and it's not even like distinctly Halloween. It's just weird enough where you go, I think I get the plot, but I'm just having fun. And that's the whole point of it. Fun Halloween movie. Definitely watch it. This next one is also a musical. This is from 2007. It is Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, directed by Tim Burton, starring Johnny Depp. I'm sorry, it's good. But however, I will say, if you don't want to watch a Tim Burton film, look up the 1982 touring stage production starring George Hearn and Angela Lansbury. Incredible. So much better than the movie. I do recommend that. It's on Vimeo, I think. You can definitely find it. It has one of the best plot twists ever in a movie or in any story. Genuinely good plot twist. And the music cue that goes with it gets me every time. That final sequence, particularly in the stage production, because I listen to the soundtrack all the time. I do think this is Tim Burton's final good movie. Like, anything after this is just so not worth watching. But this was his last hurrah. Next up, we have a superhero movie. No, it's not Multiverse of Madness. It's Donnie Darko from 2001. That's all the information I can give you. It is another one that the plot makes you go, I think I know what happened, but I'm here for the feeling that it's evoking in me. Every time I watch it, I notice something different, and I haven't watched it in about a decade, so I think I need a rewatch. But I do highly recommend this movie. It's starring Jake Gyllenhaal. I know, I can hear you stupid Swifties, boo, but whatever. He's great in this movie. I'm reading all of my information off Letterboxd, and every single one of my friends gives this a 4-star review. So if that's what you really need, it's that a bunch of annoying film kids have given this movie a 4-star review. That makes you want to watch it, right? The next one is my second favorite Halloween movie, and it's directed by Tim Burton, starring Johnny Depp. I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end it doesn't matter, because when you're a wimp, you can't avoid these two people, because they do make genuinely good Halloween movies. Anyway, it's Sleepy Hollow from 1999. It's starring Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci, who is Wednesday Addams, and we love her dearly. She was also in one of the Casper movies as well, Queen of Halloween, so that's why you watch it. Anyway, if you're from the Northeast, you should know the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I think most people, regardless of where they're from, know the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, but if you don't, basically, Ichabod Crane goes to Sleepy Hollow, New York, which is just, I don't think it's upstate. It might be. Hold on. Hey, is Sleepy Hollow in upstate New York?
Here's some information about Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow is a village in New York State's Hudson Valley. It's known as the setting of Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. The author is buried in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. Kuykendall, the Rockefeller family's opulent hilltop estate, has gardens with 20th century sculptures.
There you go. Hudson Valley. It's my favorite. To watch this movie feels as satisfying as watching Hocus Pocus does for the first time. And I think that it's not as widespread and pre-Johnny Depp dumbness, stupidity, it wasn't really talked about. And I think it should still be talked about because it is really good. And I think it's a really interesting take on a legend, American folklore. Don't even get me started on American folklore and how good I think it is, but it's a really good take on American folklore. And I think it's fun. It's just a little bit silly because of who plays the Headless Horseman. And every time that is revealed, it makes me laugh hysterically. It's just a good time. You should just watch it. That's really just the gist of this video. Is you should watch Olivia's favorite movies because all of these probably, there's 20 of them. They definitely crack like the top 100. We're in the final 5, all right, guys? You ready? Okay, so this is another movie from the 1990s. I can't help it. I'm gonna recommend everything from the 90s. This is 1996's The Craft. We haven't had nearly enough witches on this list. It's all just been weirdos and freaks. These are the weirdos, but they're really cool weirdos and they have a great sense of style. 4 teenage girls form a coven and things go awry. That's a reductive synopsis of the plot. I would say that this movie is so much more than the witchcraft. I think it has a lot to do with power. I just watched this last week, so it's very fresh in my brain. I think it has a lot to do with power and the fact that when you're a teenage girl, the one thing you want is power and it's the one thing you don't have. And it's how these 4 young women go about gaining that power and kind of finding the balance and the good and the bad. And while I think some aspects of it don't super age well, particularly with the character of Nancy, I think it's still great. I think it's a movie that has this cult following, but I don't think that it's actually dissected and talked about enough, besides the fact that the fashion is stunning. Women's grunge fashion of the 90s was fantastic, so that's why I really like it. Obviously, the lipstick is a huge inspiration for that. Yeah, watch it and report back. I would love to have a full conversation about The Craft because I think it says so much and I just have a lot to say about witchcraft in general. There are parts that make me cringe away, mostly because I don't like needles. Content warning, sexual assault. It's very quick. You don't see it, but it is a threat in this movie. Olivia, you've gone this entire video without mentioning Guillermo del Toro. I know, I didn't put Pan's Labyrinth on here because I'm an idiot, but I do have another one. This is another one of my favorite movies, probably of all time. I watch it all the time, mostly for the set and costume design, and this is Crimson Peak from 2015. I think I talk about this movie all the time with you guys when referencing Gothic literature. And hold on, do I have one here? I do, I've got 2. We got Jane Eyre, we've got classic ghost story. We've got not ghost story in the way that you think. We've got Wuthering Heights. We've got Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe is over on the other bookshelf, but we do have some classic Gothic novels around here. So if you like those, I think you'll like this. It does very much so follow the traditional trope of young girl goes to spooky old house, learns of deep dark secret, must break the cycle that caused the ghost to be there. It's starring Jessica Chastain, Mia Wasikowska, and my personal favorite, Tom Hiddleston. Say less. This is another new one for me. I just watched it like 2 weeks ago and I loved it so much. 5-star movie. Directed by Robert Eggers. This is 2015's The Witch, starring Anya Taylor-Joy. Yes, Anya Taylor-Joy. This is New England folklore, very much so Salem witch trials. However, it's not the fun magic sort of Salem witch trials that we do. To me, I think that it's very much so about a young woman coming of age and learning that she is villainized in the eyes of a lot of people through just being a young woman. And it is slow, and I wouldn't say it's really suspenseful or even scary. I think that the scariest part of it is simply the treatment of eldest daughters, and it's something that resonated with me a lot, but it does feel like a Halloween movie, and I think it was genuinely fantastic. This one, I think you could watch with a lot of people. I think you could watch with a family of adults, I say, but yeah, it was freaking great. Okay, the final 2 are ones that I loved, but they're not for everyone. So we're gonna start off with 2016's The Love Witch, indie film, weird, like so weird. Like you think it, when I tell you that it looks like it's made in the 60s, 70s, it does look like that. It's shot with Technicolor film, a stunning whimsigoth aesthetics, beautiful 1960s costuming, hair, makeup. Pay attention to some of the background things because they're very purposeful. To me, this is a story about, and again, witchcraft in a lot of horror is an allegory for women coming of age and dealing with trauma. So that's what this movie is about. But it's so good. It's so fun. And like I said, whimsigoth aesthetics. Like if you like The Craft and Sabrina the Teenage Witch, you're really gonna like this one. I would say that the dialogue that's spoken is less telling of what the movie is trying to get at as the point versus the voiceover. So pay attention to the voiceover because that's where the real story unfolds. And finally, this is, I can't believe I had never seen this movie until this past summer. Can't believe it. Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, starring Keanu Reeves, Winona Ryder, and Gary Oldman and his sunglasses. Are you kidding me? This vampire lore? No, this got not. It's so like, if you romanticize vampires, you need to see this movie. Costume design, set design, just storytelling in general, brilliant, very faithful. Well, I don't know how faithful it is to the book because I haven't read it, but very faithful and an interesting twist on the vampire lore that we know and love from Bram Stoker. Like, don't watch this with your family. Don't watch this with your parents. Watch it with close friends because I don't know how to put this gracefully. So, parents watching this, yeah, I know you're watching it. It is unabashedly horny. It's so good. Like, there are choices made in this movie that people don't make in films anymore. Like, that is an art film. It's so fun. It's my favorite. It's the best for last. I had so much fun watching this. I think I'm gonna watch it again. I watched this with my roommate. I tell everyone to watch it. And if I'm being pretentious and annoying and a contrarian, The Godfather has nothing on this movie. Nothing. It can't touch it. Okay, guys, as you can tell, I am very passionate about this subject. It's why I went back to school, because I care so much. These are all really fun. I do highly recommend them. You won't get scared at all. And with that, thank you so much for watching. All of my social media links are in the description as per usual, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.